What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. You may be wondering why I look a little bit goofy, mainly because I'm wearing two sweaters, but it's not because it's cold out, but it's more so because I had a sauna suit on under, so my body's sweating off really bad underneath. So, but anyways, today is the brand new year. Happy New Year, everybody, each and every one of you. It is January 1st, 2024. It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard signing things and dating them with 2024 because got so used to 2023, you know. Sometimes I do like 2015. I'm like, dude, it's 2023. What the freak? You know, it's been 8 years. But may not be that funny, but for some people that have to sign a lot of documents, I'm sure it could be somewhat funny and stuff like that. But you know, I like to do the sweatsuit. It helps me sweat a little bit more, especially with like all the salts I take in and stuff like that. Eating all the hot Cheetos and you know, good stuff like that. Like I say, I'm not afraid to say that I love food and I love to eat a lot of it. I've been a man of discipline before. I mean, but I don't know. When you fall off, sometimes it's hard to get back on. You know, does that mean wasn't that disciplined? Maybe so. But I mean, at that time, I was so dedicated to it, and I don't know. Like even my family would get offended when I'd turn down food and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gotta stay like doing that stuff, and then. One Thanksgiving, it was probably, 4 or 5 Thanksgivings ago now, and I got talked into, it's a cheat meal, and guess what, never stopped since. I stopped counting my calories. I used to freaking weigh out food and shit. I'm like, that's crazy, you know. The crazy part about it is like, it was a big part of my life too, and it was like, I could tell you a lot of studies and stuff, and now I really can't because that's just my big dummy brain, you know. It doesn't retain that knowledge especially if I'm not using it enough. If I'm learning new things and stuff like that. Sometimes I think I learn new things and I've already previously learned them, you know. Like I went on this trip with Matt this past summer here. We went down to the cities and we were at the Old Mill Ruins, and I thought I've never been there before, but all the memories hit me from elementary of us having a school trip down there, and I'm like, dude, I've been down here. I remember this shit. Like, what the heck? I don't know. It's crazy how the mind can forget stuff. You know what I mean? Things you might have seen years ago, and you just totally forget about, especially from like a lot of the random stuff that I do remember and stuff like that. It's like, how do I remember those things, but I forget something like that? But it was, class trip and stuff like that. So as you get another year older here, another year older for everybody, right? There's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna forget. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna learn. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna relearn, you know, and hopefully it's gonna be all for the best for you guys, you know. Hopefully it helps you improve and stay away from some of the bullshit, right? Some of the BS out there, you know. May things be shown to light, and may you live long and prosper, you know, and take care of those people that you hold very dear to yourself, you know. As well, I do my best as well. Hopefully, Creator, the God, or whoever has some good plans for us and help guide us on our ways, stuff like that too. So, always lay out my tobacco. I always got like some random pile of tobacco, and my brother you'd see it, he'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, this is my tobacco. I was just randomly sitting there, because if I don't leave it out, I might forget about it to go lay it out and pray to the Creator and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, they think you have to go somewhere to celebrate creation, or celebrate a creator or a higher being or whatever you call them, you know. But I've never been that person, you know. I think I learned that at a young age, it was just something that stuck with me. My grandmother, she passed away over a year now. My Korean grandma, one of the best cooks in the world, man. I love my grandma. Used to, yeah, I loved her waking me up early on the weekends to, go make some mandos with them, and we sit there as a family and fill them up, and you know, uh, fry them up and all that shit. Really good food. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. But she took me to a church, and I didn't know she wasn't Christian or anything. I randomly just went because she told me, Travis, you want to go with? I'm like, heck yeah. And there's watermelon, so because she said there's food, and if anybody knows me, if you say anything about free food, I'm there. I don't care if you're known as a terrible cook or a really great cook. Free food is free food, man. I'll never turn that down. And so we end up going there, doing that. My grandma's praying and stuff like that. We went to the service. Went a few times. I met some of those kids, went down to their thing, and I got to know some of them, and they were older than me, but so they were talking about things and more grown up things. I'm like, this is lame, because I just wanted to play. I'm a younger kid. All I wanted to do was play tag and all that kind of jazz, but they had other plans. But anyways, we went back to home afterwards, and I was telling my parents about how an awesome experience it was to see a bunch of my grandmas, because all these Asian people look just like my grandma. And they're just a bunch of Korean people, old Korean people. So to me, they all look the same. Of course, they don't really look the same to me nowadays, but I mean, some people look pretty similar, I guess. Not to be racist, it was just me, and I didn't grow up around those people. I grew up more so Native Americans, African Americans, and Caucasian people at that time, Not as many Asian people. There was younger Asian people, but not too much older. The only exposure I got to an older Asian person was my grandma. But it turned out that she wasn't even Christian, and my mom's like, why are you even going to there? You're not even Christian, you're Buddhist and stuff. And she's like, I don't care. God's everywhere. Shut up. And I'm like, God's everywhere, huh? So whenever anybody told me, since that day, when I told us that you have to, be in a certain place in order to pay tribute to the God, to Creator, to whoever you believe in, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's how it works. As long as, not to me. Yeah, maybe for like a social gathering and stuff like that is really great, obviously, and making friends and stuff like that. But you literally don't have to if you don't want to. You know what I mean? If you know how you want to pray to the being that you celebrate, the being that you believe in, the being that you fear or whatever. I don't know. That's on you. That's between you and whichever thing you choose to believe in. You know what I mean? And who's to say otherwise? Not me, not God, not nobody else. Well, God maybe. I don't know. I say God, just say God randomly, because if you really want to do something, it doesn't matter what anybody says and whatever. So to deter you, because that's going to be your choice. Your choice that you were given since birth to do. Whether you get signs to not do those things, or you just choose not to listen, you know what I mean? Or you do factor in some of those things, but you keep going down that path anyways, which is understandable. I've done it too. I'm sure everybody has. It's a small world after all, even though there's billions of people in it. You know what I mean? And you just got to be thankful every day, man. I don't know. I don't disrespect anybody for their beliefs or anything like that. If I just see that they're good people, they're good to me, good to others, and good to their family, then that's all that matters. You know what I mean? That's all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't. If they were bad people, then it's like, all right, then whatever, then that's something like, then that's crappy, and that's, not to be judgmental or anything, because everybody has their, everybody can change. Anybody can, but doesn't mean that they will. We don't know their life experience. We don't know how they were raised and stuff like that. That's how I feel about it, And but if they continue to be a piece of crap, even though life's not going their way, or and things aren't going good for them, that's their choice. They choose not to see that stuff, and it's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's not nobody's fault. It's their fault to not be listening to some of these, not situations, but some of these, signs that are telling them to knock that shit off, to that this might be the last straw before, they get killed, or they die, or they end up in prison for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? And some people listen to it, and they change their lives for the better. And I'm sure we all have family members, we all have friends, we all have somebody that we know that falls into that category, right? And all we can do is pray for them. All we can do is feel hope and wish and all that stuff, that they get better, that they stop doing that things, that they can start walking the path of betterment, self-improvement, because a lot of these people, we know that they're capable of goodness, that they're capable of kindness, that, even though they're doing something bad, does not make them bad people. Sometimes, some of us don't listen too well, I remember when I was going through my stint of drugs and alcohol abuse and stuff like that, people telling me otherwise, and you just don't want to listen, get involved with people that aren't necessarily up to anything good, because they were raised in an environment that wasn't necessarily good, and they can't help it. That's who they are too. But they could also see it and not do it, For me, I just never been one person that liked hurting other people, And when I was like a younger age, it was weird because I was bullied, then I became a bully, then I seen my errors and like, why am I being a bully when I know how it is to be bullied and how it is to be abused? Like, why am I doing it? Like, it seemed more fun, and I was like, why is this fun? This ain't fun. It's not. You're not powerful. You're just being a piece of shit, And not everybody sees that. Some people go to their graves like that, I guess. And I guess I'm glad I learned it at a younger age, and I mellowed out because I don't know. It could have been my ADHD too. That I wasn't thinking of anything negative or anything like that. That's just how I acted in those situations that I was put in, you know what I mean? And wanted to be accepted by other people that were around me that were the same age, and I thought should think more of me or think good of me. And if they did, I have to do these certain things, stuff like that. And, thank God it didn't get worse for me, right? Thank God I had good parents that would whoop my ass if I needed it. Really great scoldings and stuff like that. I know I needed it. If I didn't take a lot of those lickings, I'm sure, I probably would never have learned my lesson and stuff like that. But also, like it could be said that a lot of people that get those lickings, they might turn out bad anyways. You never know, because I know some people where they get whipped, and what they do, they just fight their parents, they fight their grandparents, they beat them up, they push them down, they do that kind of stuff, and it's easy to see because I remember I got whipped a lot for school, and that's why I rebelled against school, and I can see why people did that, But I never struck my mom, I never, hit my dad or anything like that. There's times where it came close, where I felt like I wanted to very badly, and I didn't. And I thank God for that. thank the Creator every day for that. And I'm glad I didn't. And glad it never came through to a situation where I had to, you know, and I don't know. It just, it sucks, man. It sucks when something like that crosses your mind. To me, it does, where you feel like you have to hit anybody, anybody, especially somebody that you care about. I know I always felt real bad when I see people get like hit and stuff like that, especially growing up. Like, I'm not laughing because it's funny, but it reminded me of some situations. There was this kid, his name was Derek. He would always try to start fights, and we'd always have to like, get up to him, and because he was older and we were younger, so he always acted like he would like beat us up or something. Because we'd always beat him in sports, and he'd get mad because he couldn't beat us in sports. So he'd run his mouth and try to get in people's faces, and you'd have to like fucking punch him sometimes, like bam, bam, give him a whole 1-2 or shove him, or smack him like bam, get off me, dude. Like I'm gonna beat you up. Like what the fuck? So and then he ended up picking on the smallest one in our group. His name's Andrew. We used to hang out with two buddies, Brooklyn Park, Andrew and Micah, some boys from Louisiana. While they were going in between Louisiana and Minnesota, at first they'd come over during the summer to visit their dad because their parents were separated, right? And then their mom was down in New Orleans, and they'd go to school there. And then they'd switched one of those, like a couple years that I was down there, that we knew them. Where they went to school in Minnesota here and then went home for the summer. But then we ended up moving up north here. So we moved from the cities up north. But anyways, he started picking on the smallest guy, and Andrew could fight, man. He'll punch you. He'll punch you pretty fucking hard. He's one of the reasons why I think this, like, I know that size doesn't really always matter. It's about a well-timed punch and with the correct punch mechanics, because this little dude would punch you, that shit would hurt, especially if he hits you in the jaw, because it's like a little heat-seeking missile, right? And he got in his face and like started trying to smack Andrew. So Andrew was like, bam, punched him one time in the jaw, and the dude started quivering. I was like, oh shit. And then he was like, I seen in his eyes that he was hurt, and he was gonna cry. And I was like, I felt bad, and I was like, but he deserved it though, I could feel his pain, and I'm like, oh man. And then he ended up crying. He started crying, and he like took off, and I was like, God damn, that's why you don't fuck with nobody, man. We keep telling him, like, you let your guard down for a second. Anybody can knock you out. Anybody can put your fucking lights out, especially if your guard's down. You're not going to react in time if you have your hands down and you're like pissing somebody off and they go to punch you. Because they're already going to be in that motion, especially if they can go from a punch from their hands down, So they'll go into that motion, bam, you're not even going to see it. You might be out unless they go back to reach back, which we all know there's like some people that have to wind up before they come punch you because they ain't never fucking hit nobody some other way, or they have a lot less fighting experience. So, yeah, that's a tip too, I guess. If you're getting bullied and some motherfuckers talking with you, talking shit to you, getting threatening and hostile, you got to practice the punches from a position of your hands down. Because if they're bullying you, they might not hesitate to hurt you. So you gotta defend yourself if they're doing that. Especially when you get older, there's some crazy people out there, man, pulling knives and guns and shit. Or they'll start swinging on you too for no reason. So it's not a bad idea to teach people how to defend themselves with their hands, with a weapon or whatever. I see those videos of people doing that too. But anyways, this dude, he took off crying. Many people could vouch for that. The cops came back 5 minutes later, said that, oh yeah, Derek said that you guys jumped him. And we're like, nobody jumped him. He just got beat up by the smallest guy. And we told them the story. And they're like, then they laughed too. And they're like, oh, okay, he was telling us that, oh, you guys jumped him or something. I was like, no, I could beat him up by myself. Any one of us beat him up by ourselves up to this point, except for the smallest ones. You fucking picked on the smallest guy. And it was like, this dude's 16 going on 17. And I think I was like 13, 14. Andrew was probably like 11 or 12 or some shit. And he fucking, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, what a wuss. Went and told the cops and shit. But he came back the next day and we're like making fun of him. We were roasting his ass because, like, how you gonna go snitching, dude? After you picked a fight with the smallest dude. So you go tell the cops or whatever. And then he's like, I didn't tell no cops. Like, bro, the cops came over here and talked to us and said you told them that we jumped you. Like, what the fuck? I don't think they're gonna lie. They're gonna try to get some kind of statement. But, knowing now, like, we probably shouldn't have said anything. Like, they could have charged us with assault or something, but they didn't. And it's weird that they didn't get him for starting stuff neither, because it was four of our words against his anyways. So I'm glad nobody got charged, because nowadays it seems like some kids get charged for less shit, you know what I mean? Like barely just punching somebody, sometimes defending themselves, but because the person didn't hit them, they get charged anyways for assault. And that to me, that's crazy. Like, some dude's getting in your face and he's getting threatening. He's threatening you, and his body. Like, if you're a part of that situation and you can feel the hostility in somebody, like they're gonna hit you or hurt you. Don't wait for them to hurt you. You got to react. You got to hit them motherfuckers. And this may be bad advice to anybody, but no, fuck that. I seen people sit there and wait, get hit, and they're asleep. They get fucked up, and the person has to get restrained. Luckily, there are times people would restrain them right away. And you see some of these videos, they do it. Person goes out and they're fucking stomping on their faces and kicking them in the face and all that. You don't know what kind of crazy person you're dealing with sometimes. So, but that was a cool little story. I remember there's a ton of weird fight stories. Some of my cousins fighting people for no reason because they said something about their man and stuff like that. I don't think it's as relevant though. My older cousins always fighting each other too. Me and my brother always fought too, so we fight over the dumbest shit. A little brother burrito slapped me once, because my parents went to the casino, so I can't remember, but we were down in Brooklyn Park at this time, and we were just talking, he didn't like he was less tolerant of anything I said to him when people were around, or if it was like, like, hey man, step it up or something, like trying to encourage him or something, he would get instantly pissed, try to fight me all the time. And it's probably because I thought his way was inadequate, or he was stupid or something. I think, and but anyways, I was put in charge because I'm the oldest brother, and we had some cousins over, and sometimes when cousins and those family members are over, you'd be a kind of a different person. You act differently, and you might talk to your sibling in a different way. But I think it was more showed off, or he thought I embarrassed him in front of them, maybe. But anyways, we had some burritos, and I can't even remember what I said, but I just remember the fucking 1 second I'm saying something to him, next second I get smacked in the face with a burrito, like bam, and then we start fucking fist fighting. And then I beat him up, make him go clean up the goddamn burrito, and I'm like, I can't believe you fucking burrito smacked me, man. And we laughing about it, still laugh about it to this day when I see him. A lot of times because we used to, I smoked a lot of weed growing up, and especially as an adult, and we would chop it up, and he'd always bring that up, and bring up a bunch of stuff, childhood memories, and sometimes it would be remembered differently. I'd be like, dude, this is what happened. This is how I remembered it. So it's always cool to reminisce with people about certain events that that might have happened differently in their eyes, because nobody sees it from your perspective except for you. Even if they went through the same situation, they might see something different, right? Different angles and all that jazz. There was this one time I let this girl budge in front of me at school, and I felt really bad, but it wasn't my fault, We all have situations where something happens and you think it could have been me or should have been me instead of that person, and you feel bad for no reason whatsoever. And this is one of those situations. I was going to school in Brooklyn Center, right before Brooklyn Park. Was a girl named Chelsea. We were the two tallest kids in our class, and she was a girl, I was a guy. I'm a boy, and I let her budge me just because I can't remember. Her last name was probably made her like one person behind me because of alphabetical order, but she asked if I could budge, or she could budge because her friend was in front of me and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, yeah, for sure, go ahead, especially if you're nice about it. If I didn't like you or you were a butt to me, I'm like, no, I'm good. So, but, I had her budge, and then a faculty member had to get through this door because it was a long line, a bunch of kids in this elementary down in this city, probably like hundreds of kids, you know what I mean? It was a lot of kids, and it was a faculty member had to go in, split us. We went back into the line. I remember the door closed, and I remember her yelling. I was like, ah! And I was like, what the hell happened? And then turned around, looked, and her fucking finger skins were like just dangling there, man. It was, oh man, she got her fingers trapped into the door, and I felt bad because I was like, I felt like it was my fault that happened to her, and then that should have happened to me, and that's one of the main reasons why I get so fucking, I get so scared whenever my son puts his hands by a door because I always remember that, and I'm like, it's lucky she didn't lose her fingers. She was out for a long time. It seemed like forever. When you're a kid, time passes by so much slower, especially when you think about that stuff, and she made a recovery, came back, and she had to relearn how to do stuff with her hands because it messed with their nerves and shit. So it's pretty crazy. It was around the time I broke my collarbone too. So I only broke 2 bones in my life so far. Fractures a break. So, but there I broke my collarbone. I was riding down the hill. There's a big hill there right next to the school, across the street, and back at this time, they had knocked it down, I believe, or leveled it, and I believe they built a hospital or something there. I can't remember last time I looked because I was checking out the neighborhood to see how it looked. Some of the houses look the same that I remember. That little church is still there, and a little playground from the cul-de-sac from where we was there, stuff like that. But the house we lived in looks totally different. They did everything. The house was only worth $70K when we were there, and then, now it's $350,000. But it seems like it's just people are just buying it, trying to revamp it and sell it really quickly again for some bucks, But I don't know. I don't know if it was worth it. It's only a 2-bathroom. Well, it was about a 4-bedroom house, but it was a small 4-bedroom, and stuff like that. But it is what it is. But we were going down the hill. It was my cousin Tyler, and I've had him on the podcast a couple times now. And we were going down that hill, and I at the bottom of the hill, my front tire hit a rock, and flipped over on my head. Hair snap, broke my collarbone. Look at it and break my neck, break my neck, bam, because of how fast we were going down that hill. And the first thing my little brother was like, ha ha, because he was playing on the jungle gym. He ran out to say that, and it was like, shut up, you little bitch, I'm gonna beat you up. And my dad's like, quit swearing. And then, we start walking to the house, and you could see the fucking bone sticking up. And then my dad's like, oh, because I'm crying because it's really painful, and I have to hold my arm up to prop it up. And he's telling me how I got to stop crying or else my mom's going to whip me and stuff like that, and how I shouldn't have been doing that, even though he was like too busy playing basketball on the court there on the playground to like supervise us. But, you're kids, man, you're going to do what you're going to do, and it's one way to learn. Like I said, I'm just glad I didn't snap my neck. And then we get home, I somehow choke it in and stop crying, and Mom's like, what the hell, you're not crying or something. I'm like, Dad told me not to cry or else you're going to beat me. she gets pissed at him. It was awesome. But we had like all the family members out, my Grandpa Grandma Belcourt, my Uncle Crow, my Uncle Wolf and stuff, packed into that tiny house. But, a lot of scary ghost stuff in that one. That's the one that was haunted with that ghost in the basement. The other one that I seen that went to the basement that I thought was my father, and stuff like that. So a lot of scary stuff. Not as scary as my grandpa's house. My grandpa's house was the most scariest places I've ever been in my life. Couldn't sleep there at night because I feel like things were brushing on your face and shit, or it was like staring at you. And I don't know, it was just a weird presence for me. And a lot of our cousins, because we just stay up all night, just scared as shit. It was great times. Cousin Rob's, Rob, Leonard, all these guys. So one night we went to Blockbuster, and we thought we were getting we know what you did last summer, and being kids, we didn't read it. My aunt, she didn't fucking bother reading it neither as we were checking out a Blockbuster, right? And we get to the house, we're like, what the fuck is this? And it turned out we grabbed the wrong one. It was a parody. It's like, I know who you did last summer, because Jason Voorhees pulled out a pack of condoms and shit. And we're like, what the fuck? We didn't even watch the stupid thing. We're like, what the fuck? We wasted all our money. We just had a bunch of candy, and, we were like, whatever. We'll just watch fucking whatever's on TV. Had some old Pokemon videos and stuff like that. When everybody went to bed, we knew where the porn stash was, so we'd fucking watch porn and stuff. Little orange tapes and stuff. It was crazy. It's kind of weird nowadays, because you're like, who the fuck sits around with a bunch of other dudes and watches porn, because, I don't know, like it was like older people's stashes and stuff like that. So for some people, porn is bad and stuff like that. I don't think much of it, as long, it might keep somebody from cheating, I guess, and stuff like that. But some couples like watching it when they do it, you know what I mean? And I don't judge people for that. It's like, whatever. Like, to me, technically, you're not cheating. I mean, it's weird to think about, but I guess it's because I grew up around it and I seen that stuff. That's why I don't think it bothers me as much. Like, why lie about it or make fun of people for it, or demonize them for it? No reason to. They're like, why do they make women do these things? To me, the question is, why do women do that? In the end, the long run, it's always money, I got in an argument with this one girl in middle school. I can't remember. She was mixed race girl, very beautiful woman though. I'd say that. We were in the same class, ninth grade. This is Northview Junior High, Brooklyn Park. But I said that one of my favorite songs, because at this time I didn't know any other genres. I only knew rap, because that's all my family really listened to. That or powwow. So it was mostly rap, because most of my friends, African Americans, even the white kids, listen to just rap and stuff like that. It's just that was what was around us. You know what I mean? And so I said it was just at the time it might have been like a Little John song. It was a good song. It's probably still a banger, but I can't remember the exact song. But I said that song, and she was like, like, why do you like that guy, those guy, or those people for? Because they subject women, and like, how you support that and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I just like the fucking song, lady. Like, what the fuck? And she's like, you think it's all right for women to be subjected? In my head, I was like, these women are doing it willingly, and that's their choice. I don't see nothing wrong with it, because They're choosing to do that. I'm not choosing to fucking do that. I just like the fucking song. I never thought about this before that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I remember that, but I just like, at this time too, I was starting to mellow out. And I just didn't, I would always argue with people before this, like up till like 8th grade, where I'd just talking shit and I'd argue it. And then around this time, I just stopped caring. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, what's the point of arguing? I'm winning something? Like, I won an argument. I won a verbal altercation or something. And it just, later on in life when I started drinking, it kind of, like, I would be that way. But, looking at that now, even, I'm like, that's stupid. Because I can go, there's no point in it. Like, what are you winning? It's different when you're speaking up for yourself, but for something as petty as that, like who cares? They made the music video. They decided to get paid to do these things, and that's their choice. They're shaping the culture of rap and stuff like that to be that way. They could choose not to do that as well, but that's their choice, not our choice. And, well, it is our choice, I guess, if we decide to consume it. I've since moved on from a lot of rap, like especially with like just booty shaking all the time. It's more so like, I don't know. I liked something with more substance and stuff like that has like a meaning. More so of talking about like poverty and all that kind of stuff, And I hate a country. Like that was like the last genre I actually started listening to and kind of liking. I'm not a big country fan still. Country's more like pop nowadays, I guess, too. So, but they do get some good songs sometimes and stuff like that. I do like those sappy songs. I'm a romantic comedy type of guy. I'm a fucking weirdo. I'd prefer anime over anything else, though. So I'm one of those guys, one of those weirdos. One of those hentai guys. 3D porn, let's go. Just people might judge people for that, but I don't really care. I don't even think I don't feel the need to explain it to anybody neither. I'm just like, it's just their preference, man. Who cares? Well, there's real vagina or fake vagina or penises, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's up to the individual. It's just whatever sparks and interests the mind of that individual. So I don't like to judge any of that stuff. I just, like, when it comes to, like, that sex stuff, like, we'll talk about sexes and stuff like that, right? Or genders, I guess. Touched on it a little bit with Eric on a podcast. I'm not too political, but these are just my beliefs. Like, you're born a certain way. Like, you can't change that. You might feel differently to me, but even if you do it, to me, you shouldn't say, like, I'm a woman if you were a man and transition to a woman, just be, you're a trans woman or trans man, whichever, so that way you're honest with it, that you did have a procedure to do that, because, like, what happens if that person finds out, like, you just told them the whole time you're a woman, therefore you're lying because you actually transitioned to be a woman, and they didn't know that. Like, just be honest, like, be honest with your whole story about that, especially if you want somebody to fully accept you and be there for you. Like, to me, you can't lie to somebody and expect them to be totally honest, because you're lying about being what you were born as, and then that you needed like a procedure. It's different if you were like born with two genders, like one not fully, like one, like your male genitalia wasn't fully formed and the rest of your body was a female or something, and so the doctors did a procedure to take that out or something, or the other way around where you had ovaries, but you still had all the male genitalia. You didn't have the breasts like the females and stuff like that. That's different. You were still technically, you still are that person. You're just, you had those things, and that happens, and if you're mostly towards that one gender, there's a reason why it was decided that was either taken out or, whatever, because I think that would upset some type of growth, right? Or something like that later on down the developmental process for you as a human being, you know. So, I don't know much about it. I'm not a doctor, obviously. I'm not anything like a biologist or anything like that. So there's not much I can speak on about it. I did like biology. I did like science growing up. Probably some of my favorite, classes to go to were those, and also math. I learned a lot from those classes, and I haven't studied them in a long time, obviously, because when you go out to the real world after like high school and stuff, you don't really care about that stuff. You just, unless if you go to school, unless if you come across different things, you decide to go study things or, discover those things, I guess. Then you would obviously continue down that path. But when your path of life does not involve those things, you tend not to do it. You know what I mean? Well, you're not an engineer or something like that, so your life's not really affected like that, and you don't think in that way. So there's just some things people are good at that they carry on for the rest of their lives and are affected by it for the rest of their lives, right? And it's awesome. It's awesome. So nerds or whatever. So anyways, I think I took up most of you guys plenty of time here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a very happy new year. And if you do the New Year's resolution thing, I hope you're successful in staying on that and continuing down doing whatever it is that you decide to do. But one word of advice on that before we go is that, even if you fail this resolution, and if it's something that you feel strongly about, try to do it again. Keep doing it, no matter how many times, Don't give up. Don't give up if it's something that you really want to kick and or you want to get done. You know what I mean? Just because you failed doesn't mean you have to wait till the next year to start the resolution again, or that you're just a fucking failure, because you're not. Because failures will teach you a little bit more about where you went wrong, and hopefully it can help guide you in doing it correctly the next time. So anyways, hope you guys have a great one. Peace out, guys. Love you.